As some of you may have seen in a previous video, we bought a shipping container to house a lot of the stuff that used to be on the interior part of our barn, because when I built this barn, my idea was to build a workshop up above this concrete slab part right here. But I haven't had time to do that yet because I've been working on the house. So in the interim, because we don't have an interior place in the barn to keep stuff, we got a shipping container. So today, I bought some like cheap little earth anchors off Amazon, and I'm going to strap this thing to the ground so that if we get hit by a hurricane, it does not fly away. Here's what they are. Tech to each 30-inch earth anchors. There are 4 of them, 4 little eyelets that screw in the top of them. They got some adapters and stuff where you can hand crank them in, or you can, there's one other thing, or you can put it on like a impact driver. I have a big old Milwaukee 3/4 inch impact that I'm going to use to just drive them down on the ground. I gotta go see where Macy wants them though, because the only problem I'm going to run into is if I put them right along here, then we won't be able to mow this little strip, because I don't want to. I guess I could just put them right down by the side there. I don't know, I'll figure it out. So this is what we're working with right here. Nothing too fancy. When they're doing like foundation renovations or foundation restoration stuff, they use stuff similar to that, or when they're like staking guy wires on distribution or transmission poles, they'll use like double helix stuff. Obviously they're a lot bigger and a lot sturdier than that, but you know, these will give some uplift protection if a hurricane comes. It's probably not going to be a ton, you know, but I'm not looking to spend a ton of money on it, so there's nothing in there that we couldn't live without if it did happen to blow away. I'm not going to be very precise with this. I'm just going to put them, you know, a quarter of the way in here, a quarter of the way in there on each side. Originally I was going to use ratchet straps, but I actually have, from when I tore down this barn before I brought it here, some old steel cable that they use to hang batting cages. So I'm probably going to use that because I have a ton of the fasteners and a ton of the Brady cable that just sitting there not doing anything, and I think it'd be perfect for this. Yeah, it uses a 14mm socket here, and then it's got a I-ring that screws into it once I get it drilled down into the ground here. So let's see how it works. I'd say it works pretty dang well. Somehow or another, there's already bull ants all over that thing. I'm gonna put these over here. I'm not gonna record it though, because I don't feel like moving the camera for something that fast. All right, that's all 4 of those things in the ground. I'm gonna go put this up and then go grab that cable and see about putting it on. I kept the connectors, these little things that you put on the wire to clamp it to itself to hold it in place, but I did not keep the tensioners, so there's no way for me to put tension on it once I get it in place. And I wouldn't be able to just pull it and then clamp it down unless I use like the tractor or something, but I'd rather just go buy some new strainers and put it on there. So I'll finish this up another day. You know, it kind of ticks me off. I think I took them to the scrap yard, and you know, steels get you like 15 cents a pound or something like that, and got paid whatever for them. But the one time I throw something away, I keep like a bunch of random stuff. I just made a video where I was keeping a carburetor and an old gasket off an old carburetor that I'll probably never use again. And I mean, I got a whole barn just full of junk and a whole shipping container full of junk, but the one time I need something, I threw it away. But I'm glad. I don't want to be one of those people that keeps just a whole bunch of crap and then never uses it. That's how you end up with a storage container and a barn and a garage full of crap. I probably need to get rid of more crap actually, and just buy what I need. You know, those strainers won't be that expensive. I'll just go to Ace Hardware and grab them.
3 weeks later.
Back out here today on a Sunday to get the rest of the strap system put on this shipping container here. The only thing I've done so far is put the earth augers in the ground in the 4 spots. I stopped by Ace Hardware earlier. Macy and I went out to eat at First Watch, which was delicious. And I went and bought the tensioners and some D-ring shackles that I'm going to use to attach everything. And I already have the cables. So I'm gonna get started doing that. I'm gonna film some of it in like a point of view style, and then maybe set the tripod up while I'm doing the rest of them after I do one of them. So get started. This cat is crazy. I hear something rummaging around up here, and he's just no fear in this guy. 8, 9, 10 feet off the ground. 9 feet off the ground, maybe. Goose! What are you doing, bud? Can you get down? I help him get down sometimes, even though I know he can get down. Oh, crazy Sushi. I'm gonna leave him alone to do his thing. He seems to get stressed out when I try to help him. Goose has made it back to the land on the ground.
Oh, he's a good boy. Oh, he's a good boy.
Such a good cat. Alright, I got this little chest-mounted GoPro on so you can see all the hand action. Got some stuff here from the ace of the hardware. Let me grab a ladder real quick. Oh. Some D-rings, 2 tensioners. So I need to back these off pretty good ways because I don't think I'll be able to pull the cable very tight. And then I'll just slip like a screwdriver in here and twist them in. One reason I decided to do this today is there is a tropical disturbance forming up out in the Atlantic. We are basically in the peak of hurricane season right now. Fortunately, we haven't had anything really form up that's come near Florida. But, you know, who knows? We've gotten pretty shellacked the past couple of years by a couple different storms. Last year was Helene and Milton. Helene didn't really affect us here, but it affected me at my job because I work for a power company, so I had to work for quite a bit, and it affected a lot of our service territory. And then Milton impacted our property here directly because it was, you know, kind of went right up through the bay there. Just a little north of it, but we had some damages here, nothing too crazy. This episode brought to you by Aldi Spicy Water. Here are the little wire clamps that I'll be using. These are existing from when we tore down the old barn and brought it over here. They're pretty rusted, so I'm going to hit it with some penetrating oil. Pay no attention to the disorganization in the toolbox. That'll do, pig. That'll do. I don't know where my penetrating oil is. Trying to find which one of these fits the best. Looking like it's a 1/2 inch. Alright. I found the penetrating oil. It's over here. So I don't have... Normally for this, I'd probably use some like WD-40 or like white lithium grease, but all I have right now is this penetrating oil. So that's what I'm using. Make sure to get it all over my hands, nice and good. Had to adjust the camera angle there. I'm using like the chest strap. Never really used it before, so don't know how it really interacts when I bend over and do other stiffs. My hands have been penetrated by penetrating oil. Gross. Little battery. Big old DeWalt impact driver. This is the Rust Buster 9000. Now I need a ladder and a pair of channel locks or pliers or something that I can hold those things steady with while I crank them with the big old nut blaster. Well, these aren't ideal. This is what I've found. We'll make it work. Ooh. And here's a ladder. The grass is so tall about can't find the thing, but it's right there. Here is the braided cable that I'm going to be using. Not sure what gauge, or even if gauge is the right word for how they measure braided steel cable. It's relatively thick. I think it's going to do exactly what I need it to do. So I'm going to go ahead and attach one side. All right, so here, so you can see that. I hope you can see it. If you can't, I don't care. It is what it is. So I'm running it through here. Squinch this on like this right here. I have a second one in my hand, and then I dropped it. It's down here in the earth somewhere. This has been, oh, I found it. I'm gonna drop it again. Found it. All right, back in business. Both of those are started on there. Get this a clamps, and set this to 1. So we don't want to kill it. And now we'll squinch it down on there. All right. One side is attached. Now we got to throw this over. And what we'll do on the other side, I bought closed loop tensioners. So we'll put a D-ring. Oh, son of a bitch. Should have checked. D-ring doesn't fit through there. All right, well, let's see about the other side. Guess I could always do it like that. I could always grind this down. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna grind the D-ring down. That way it'll fit through here. Hey. Should have checked this when I was at Ace Hardware. But alas, I did not. I gotta find my damn angle grinder. Hey Goose. Where is my gosh damn angle grinder? Found it. Already got a grinding blade on it and everything. Beautimus. Aha! Alright. One more. Alright. Tensioners and D-rings are ready. Now I gotta flop this thing to the other side and attach it. Go ahead and get this set up down here. So I'm gonna slip that over here, tighten this down. And if it's strong enough to break this D-ring, then it's going to pull this thing out of the ground before it actually breaks it. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to swing this over here and then get up on top, pull it over, get it in the right position. 15 times the charm. That's all I needed. Get it to stay up there. All right. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be able to get away with using just this piece. Just cut it. Find some bolt cutters. These are actually crimpers, but they do have a bolt cutter portion to it. And I'm also going to bring this thing. This was the thing that was like the manual turn for those earth augers. But I'm going to use it as a lever to crank these tensioners down. This is some strong cable here. There we go. Trying to tension it by hand as best I can. I've only got this much here to be able to tension it. I'm gonna go check over here, make sure we're lined up, straight up and down. Do a little bit of adjusting. It's not going to be crazy tight, but it doesn't really have to be, honestly. I'm just tightening the tensioner. It's working pretty good so far. I'm feeling some pretty good tension on the steel cable here. Tighten it all the way down, I think. Bring a zip tie out and zip tie that. But that's pretty dang tight. I felt it start to pop the ground a little bit, so I'll leave it there. This one's a little less tight just because it was pulling off the friction. I could have got another tensioner and put it over on this side too, but I honestly think this is going to be fine. If it starts to lift up, it's going to catch the full tension of this thing through the ground. And if it pulls it through the ground anyway, because I mean, those things probably only hold a couple 100 pounds of force being torqued into the ground like that. You know, if it's overcoming that and the weight of this shipping container, you know, we're in for a world of hurt anyway. So I like it how it is. I can't for the life of me figure out how people film those POV videos where, you know, things just don't go out of focus and the thing doesn't go all over the place. I've tried the camera thing on my, like the headband. I've tried the camera strap on my chest there, which is what I was just doing. But I still feel like I missed like half of what I was doing. But whatever, I'm gonna set it up on a tripod now, so it doesn't take me as long. But like I said, this side's a little bit looser just because of the friction going across the top when I'm pulling the tension. But this side over here, pretty tight. So, well, it's not as tight as it was when I tensioned it at first. But again, that's just because of the friction going across the top that I was pulling out. But I'm not worried about that because this is tight enough that if anything were to pull up on it, like you're not going to be able, even if I took the tractor and picked it up with the forklift, it would only move maybe a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch before it caught on these things. So if this thing starts getting picked up in a high wind event, it's going to get the full effect of the tension down through the ground. So I'm not too worried about it. All right, I'm gonna put the back ones on. Grass is so overgrown since I put these in, it's kind of hard to find them. There's the first one. So I'm going to attach this end here and I'll sling it over the top like I did with the other one and put the tensioner on the other side. I'm gonna see if I can pull a little bit more slack out of this one than I did the other one. Not for any really utility reason, but just because I want to. Just want to see if I can. All right, let's get one on. Gonna try and loop this over the corner here so I can get up there and walk it across. All right, got this thing brought across. Find my next one right here and go ahead and cut it. I have some actual good bolt cutters somewhere. These are my fencing crimps that have just like a wire cutter in the middle of them, but I don't know where my other bolt cutters are. Wouldn't hurt me to buy another pair of bolt cutters. I think those ones that I have are a little worn down anyway. I don't think I brought the other clamp. Almost forgot to put the dang tensioner on here. Little D-ring shackle goes through the earth auger, which is attached to the tensioner. Cable goes through the top of the tensioner, and the cable clamp goes on here. I get as much tension on it as I can by hand, which isn't going to be much just because I have to release it to put the bolts on, but I'll retension it a little bit. Now I'm just tightening the tensioner here. All right, that one feels pretty tight. Might loosen up in the ground some. I'm gonna go grab some zip ties real quick. All right, this extra put back over at the barn along with the ladder here. That ain't going nowhere. So yeah, that's all I was gonna do. Got the earth anchors. I should probably put another one of these clamps on this one. I should actually probably put another tensioner because you know what? I'm actually gonna undo it and redo the tensioner on the other side. Damn it. Because this one's nice and tight. Nice and tight. But this one, a little loose. Gonna redo it. Not leaving well enough alone. I know I said it wouldn't matter, but it'll matter in my brain. Waste of a good zip tie. Re-loosening the tensioner now, all the way back out. Macy's headed out to mow. I don't know if you can hear that. Shout out to Macy. I'm about to go get gas and diesel in all the cans. One, because we need it, and two, because there's potentially a tropical storm about to form up, and always good to have both of those things. There we go. Tighten this back up, and then go grab another zip tie. All right. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Grab another zip tie real quick. All right, that is much better. All right, that's got that tie down thing done. There's some other things I want to do as far as hurricane proofing, but those are going to wait until it's more likely that one's actually going to hit. I was going to do this regardless of whether or not a hurricane was coming. It just took a potential hurricane coming to spur me on to actually take action. So one thing I'm going to do now, I got to move all this crap out of the way. We were using this yesterday, cleaning out in the master bedroom. So I'm going to move it because Macy's about to mow. Macy just let me know that all our gas cans are actually empty. So I'm going to go get some ethanol-free gas for our 4-stroke gas engines, and then I'm going to fill up our diesel cans too for the tractor. There used to be a weather cover on top of this thing, and I found this and that on the ground over there because them damn donkeys can't mind their own business. I see you over there, Brown. I gotta find out where the damn weather cover for this thing's at. I had it like tightened down on there too. I had it cinched down because it was supposed to rain last night. My God. My wife and her animals. Luckily this isn't like an oil reservoir or anything. It's literally just a cover for the manual crank for the winch because this is an electric jack on here. But yeah, don't get donkeys. Or if you do, keep them away from your stuff. Them damn donkeys been up to no good again. I come up here under the barn after I put the tractor up. My softener salt was strode all over the place instead on the pallet here, so I had to pick it up and throw it back on there. My sprayer, the little nozzle was like taken and strode all over the place. I stole the bag off the dump trailer. They just like to mess with stuff, man. They're mischievous. What have I ever done to them other than try to get them to love me? And they won't do it. They won't love me. They won't even let me get near them. Let this be a lesson to all the men with wives who want to have farm animals as pets. You should probably let them do it. It makes her happy, whatever. All our gas cans are empty, but I got some more diesel left, so I'm gonna go ahead and empty the diesel into the tractor, then load up all the cans in the truck and head to find the closest ethanol-free gas station. Unfortunately, we don't have one super close by us, so I gotta drive down to like State Road 64. Ethanol-free is all I put in any of my small engine stuff. Just because when you don't run it a lot, ethanol in gas, I don't know this for a fact, this is just what I've always been told, ethanol will destabilize faster than ethanol-free gasoline. So if you use ethanol-free gasoline, it'll last a little bit longer. If you don't run your small engines quite as frequently, it'll last longer in there, and then you can put like stable and stuff like that in it to make it last even longer. So I'm gonna go do that. This is all of them that we got. We got 5 of the 5-gallon gas cans and 3 of the 5-gallon diesel cans, and then this one's full. I just filled that one up. It's a 50-to-1 mix for all my small engine stuff, and then I got some more 2-stroke oil that I use for that. So filled up the tractor, used about 7.5 gallons of fuel in that. So I got 12.5 gallons of diesel I got to get, and then I got to get 25 gallons of ethanol free, and I'm gonna fill my truck up while I'm there. So I'm off to spend a pretty penny, but here's everything loaded down. That's all empty at the moment. I'll strap it in a little bit better on the way back so it doesn't spill, but I'm actually looking for a better way to do that. So if you have any advice, or if you've seen any videos of people, better ways to secure their gas cans when they go to fill them up, drop them in the comments, let me know. Be interested to see it. Head to the Circle K. It's the closest one. It's like 15 minutes from here. It's not that far, but I called them and they got ethanol free and diesel, so head there now. Macy was up mowing in the front yard when I was pulling out, so I was gonna honk at her, and something I realized when I was doing that ignition switch job, I don't think my horn works anymore. I'm scared to keep pressing on it because I don't want to deploy the airbag, so I don't really care about that. I hardly ever use the horn anyway. Old truck, just an old truck. Still love the thing. Wish it worked a little bit better than it did. Wish it wasn't falling apart quite as much as it was, but I do use the heck out of it, and it still does what I need it to do. And I do not want to spend money on a new truck, or even a 10-year-old used truck. So, me and old Blue, in it together till the end. Oh, this is gonna take a while. This right here is the worst gas can I've ever purchased. If you can avoid buying this, do it at all costs. It is a Briggs & Stratton press and pour. Horrible. Thankfully, the gas is flowing quick today. Eventually I'm gonna buy me a big old bed-mounted transfer tank with a fuel pump on it, with a diesel and an ethanol-free reservoir. That way we won't have to worry about these cans. I'll just pull whatever I need to fill up right beside the truck here and just pump it in there from the hand pump. I lied, I'm actually getting 26 gallons of gasoline. This one's a 6-gallon gas can. $100 worth of ethanol free. 46 bucks worth of diesel. $146. Turns out the truck is actually full too, so I don't have to fill it up. Look at past me doing future me a favor. Alright, there's everything all filled up and secured in there. Heading home. I've made it back home. I stopped by my buddy's house. I had to go, I let him borrow my earth auger here. There's a good old Harbor Freight earth auger a while back, and he had one of my gas cans too, so I went and got that. I'm glad it was full because I got it after I filled up with gas. So now I'm gonna unload all this crap, and that'll probably be it for the day. All right, everything's unloaded. It's in the garage. Mister's out here doing a mow. Barely. There's the donkey bowls. Did you happen to find my cover for the dump trailer jack? The donkeys took it and then unbuttoned something and then threw the cord. So it's in the yard somewhere. Guilty. Guilty.
Silly boy.
Alright, I gotta go do homework. So that's all I'm gonna do for the day.
Good.
See you next time. Hit him with a see you next time, mister.
See you next time.
You got a point.
See you next time.
Eating big time, ain't she pretty? Ain't she witty? Ain't she great?